Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Owner's Box. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of Little Red Feather Racing Club. Joining me alongside, as always, with hair pulled back today,
Mm.
the great Michelle Yu. And what a Derby weekend. I don't want to say I was right, Michelle, but I told you
You
there
were right,
was a
Billy.
lot worse than the race that I liked.
I gotta say, it's not only that you were right, because I feel like we both liked Sovereignty, but not with the conviction that you did. You basically said this is a one-horse race,
I did.
and this is the only horse that's fast enough to win the race.
I bet it that way. And congratulations to Godolphin and to Junior Alvarado and to Mike. I'm sorry, Mike Mott. That's the new guy. Must be a
Mike
new
Mott? No
Mike.
more Bill? We've gotten rid of Bill.
I almost just said Mott and they changed it to Mike. But here's the thing. We're going to get right into it because we have a very special guest, Michael Banahan from Godolphin. Michelle, bring him in. He is
Yay!
Hey.
How you doing, guys?
Pal?
Very, very well.
And now, very, very well.
Why?
Wait. I have to just preface this whole thing by saying not only did they win the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks over across the pond, they won the 2,000 guineas.
Yep.
And what else was it?
1,000.
The 1,000 guineas.
The fillies,
How many thousands could you get, Michelle? That's good.
I am mind boggled. Has that ever happened in the history of racing?
We're so prepared for you, and we're also this show is unlike any other that you will be on. I actually saw you on a show, and you didn't smile like this on the other show. You were very technical and blah blah blah. Listen, congratulations! What a weekend! How do you feel right now?
Look, it's still surreal, really, and you sort of feel like you need to pinch yourself that something as unreal as that has happened over the weekend. We were a long time trying to win any of the big classics at Churchill Downs, either the Oaks or the Derby, and we were fortunate enough to do that with Pretty Mischievous a couple of years ago.
Right.
And maybe that was a watershed moment to get us going. But to actually go in there, and even though we knew we had good chances in both races, but never dreamt that we would actually win both of them. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was. That's interesting. It takes me to a question because Godolphin's the big. What are you showing, Michelle? What is this?
I love this. Jonah Bell, which is Godolphin's farm in Lexington. Their neighbors are Millridge. And like when your kid graduates high school, you put like signs on your front yard. Millridge did this for Godolphin, and it says, "Congratulations, Godolphin," and it has the list of all of their 1,000 guineas, 2,000 guineas, Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks,
6,000
in front of the farm. Isn't that so cute?
Yeah, that's very
cool.
But
that was great.
But Michael, this is interesting because I think you've won the top breeder for however many years in a row. You're obviously a massive operation. That's no secret. Why do you think it has taken so long to have this kind of success in these particular races?
Well, you very well know, Billy, it's a game that you need to be patient, and it's a long game, and you don't get results overnight. People all were congratulating about the weekend and how great it was and everything, but it is 20, 30 years in the building, and lots of mistakes along the way. Lots of things that went right as well, and we're very fortunate that the founder of Godolphin, Sheikh Mohammed, has given us these resources to be able to do this. So like we got an opportunity to do some things a little bit differently a few years ago, and I think it's helped us. And one thing is just breeding to a wider range of stallions that we've done the last few years. Here in central Kentucky, lesser concentration with the broodmares going to a smaller group of stallions. So I think that has helped as well, and being able to have the autonomy to breed the right mares to the right stallions that we think from a local standpoint as well. And so I think that has helped us, and we're fortunate that we have a very nice roster of stallions ourselves. And we've been given the opportunity to go out and use the top stallions, be they Into Mischief, Gunrunner, or Curlin, or whoever they might be. So we're very lucky in that regard. But because we have the opportunity to do that, doesn't mean that we just say, okay, well, Into Mischief or Curlin, they're the best stallions in America. Let's throw all our mares at them.
No.
We're very thoughtful about it, and it's from a physical standpoint as much as a pedigree standpoint as well that we look at, because if these horses aren't going to stand up to training, there's no point in having a beautifully bred horse. And so a lot goes into it, and a lot of different people help us get there as well. So and we're very fortunate to have some wonderful farms here in Kentucky, great land to raise our horses on, and some very, very good trainers that we have in America that can, when they get the right horses there, that they can show them to the best that they can be on the racetrack.
Amazing. Michelle, I know you have a question.
Well, you mentioned that it wasn't expected to take the Oaks Derby double, and you mentioned the great trainers that you have. Listening to Brad Cox after the race, he said, "I never thought this was going to be an Oaks horse," and he said, "I thought Alabama, down the line for her."
Yeah.
And even though Bill Mott was so quietly confident, he was coming off a lost sovereignty. So when you won the Oaks, were you thinking we legitimately have a chance to sweep this double?
Absolutely, because we won the Oaks. And we had 2 horses in the
He
Derby,
also,
so
he also probably listened to our podcast, Michelle.
And he knew, he was like, Billy is such a good handicapper. I don't know what to do.
Absolute lock on the podcast. I gave it out, just so you know.
Well, I'm so glad that you did that.
Yeah.
And
it didn't affect the price at all, though.
No.
Well, it did somewhere along the line, because I was looking at it they were going into gates and he was 9-1 still, and I said, that's great. And suddenly, and I didn't look at the returns.
That was me. That was me.
Yeah, exactly. So much later, and I said, what price is he? He's 7-1. I said, what happened? He's computer generated.
It's the Owner's Box podcast. That's exactly what happened.
Jumped in there. Yeah.
Hey, was I've seen you many years. I've known you many years. Was going into the weekend, did you have more dark in the hair, is this how it was before? I just want to know that for our people.
I think it's just genetically natural to be this gray this early. So I probably started going gray when I was in my 30s, but I beat my dad by about 5 years, because from what I gather, he went grey when he was about 25. So, but the one good thing is that we still have plenty of hair, so we don't lose it when it goes grey, and I'm happy. I'm really good with that. I don't mind that at all.
It's a great look. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you get started? How long have you been with Godolphin? What's your history with horse racing, Michael?
Well, I grew up in Ireland on a small farm that my parents had, and they always had 1 or 2 mares on there. And I always tried to breed a couple that ended up, usually when I was growing up, beside them anyway, it was cheaper stock, but they did end up winning a couple of Grade 1 races from only having 2 mares on their farm, which was unbelievable. And they had a horse you probably never heard of before called Military Attack, but he was what Romantic Warrior was in Hong Kong before Romantic Warrior. He was one of the greats down there, and won the Yorkshire Oaks, bred an Yorkshire Oaks winner as well. So
you're a little kid. You're a little kid at this time.
No, I'm actually an old kid at that time, because when I was a little kid, they were going down the road selling them for £500 or something.
There you go.
So they ended up having fun with that, with just a couple of mares, and so. Me and my siblings, we always grew up with some ponies and horses around the place, and I ended up working at Coolmore in Ireland for my first real horse experience, and then come over here and worked for them in Lexington as well, and did my own version of Flying Star program. I went and worked for a trainer in Australia called Colin Hayes, who was one of the leading trainers in Australia at the time, and worked for a trainer in England called Guy Harwood, you probably know him from training Warning and Dancing Brave and horses like that. So I sort of worked my way around, worked in stud farms as well to try and get as much experience as I could, and actually worked at Juddmonte for a bit as well when Symphonic was actually one of the yearlings that we broke when I was there, and So
You
just
work for some just real small kind of run of the mill companies.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Mom and pop.
what a terrible resume.
Well, I always like working with some people. Just like working with horses. I always wanted to work with the best horses I could.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I ended up with top trainers where they were, and a backstory as well. I also worked for Bill Mott as an exercise rider back in the day as well.
That's so
So
cool.
No,
so sort of
that's full circle.
full circle. So that's
Wow.
crazy.
Did you
Crazy as
call
well.
and say, "Can I get a leg up on Sovereign Day next week?"
No, but he always jokes. He said, "Have you brought your chaps with you when I go down?" So I said, "Nah, you wouldn't want me on one of the horses now." So that was, those experiences with those type of trainers and people that are the best in the industry. You can't help but soak up a lot of learnings through them as well. So I always try to surround myself with what I thought were the great horses. When I first went to Coolmore, they had phenomenal mares and a lot of ones that come over from America, and I was just always blown away by their pedigrees and who they were, and big gobsmacked by being able to do that from sort of a guy that was never around horses of that ilk. So I've
Amazing.
always liked to been around those, and been very fortunate, and working for Darley Godolphin since 1993, and so been with them over 30 years. So, and we've had great luck doing that. And I actually worked in England initially. I was working for Bill when I got a call to if I wanted to take an opportunity over in England, and went over, looked after one of the farms over there at Dalham Hall Stud, and I was there for about 5-6 years. And then we bought a farm in Kentucky, and I came back over here. It was easy, I knew Kentucky. I love Kentucky, so it was easy to come back here as well. So it's been a fun run, and with even in England in that time frame I was there, the full Dubai Millennium over there. So
Wow.
just
Wow.
having these great horses to work around and be part of, it's not like work at all. It's it's brilliant. Yeah.
Now, do you walk out your office and go and give Cody's Wish a pet, and go give Nyquist a little smooch on the nose, and go visit Street Sense?
Well, you know what it is like when the horses come back to the farm, and it's fantastic, and we get visitors coming out all the time. But you're on to the next generation, so it's
Mhm.
now it's the Sovereignties, the Good Cheers,
Right.
the Immersives, First Mission, whoever they might be. So you sort of, and they're on your doorstep. Yeah, it's all like it's a tough spot to work and live in. You're 100 yards away from going out and visiting those horses all the time whenever you want to. So I was up in the breeding shed this morning, and they were all Nyquist, Cody's Wish, Maxfield. They were all in action this morning. So it's great to be able to see them whenever you want to see them, really. So I feel
That's so
very
cool.
lucky.
Yeah. So cool. Michael Banahan joining us here on the Owner's Box. I have a question for you. This is kind of off the wall. I just thought of it.
Yeah.
Do you get like a call from the Sheik, or is it like on speakerphone, like a group call? Like, and what is his reaction to all this? Like, does he get excited?
Did he come to Derby?
He didn't come to Derby, but he has been there before.
Yeah.
He was back in the day when like Worldly Manor and horses like that ran, and he actually did the walkover as well.
Oh, wow.
And so you can imagine what that was like with all these drunken Kentuckians and Americans leaning over the rail, shouting and screaming and everything.
Right. So that's what I want to know. Is there like a call? Is there like, do you guys on like Sunday morning, do you get it like, is it on speakerphone with all you guys around? And what's he like?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been to the States in a few years, and it's usually Anthony Stroud or Simon Crisford. One of those are usually our conduit back to him as well. So I talked to both of them on Sunday, and they said that he was over the moon and so excited about the whole weekend, both in the US and the UK as well. But especially excited about winning the Derby, and it's no secret that that's a race that he wanted to win, and it was one of the few global races that haven't been ticked off yet. So it was fantastic to do that, and to be able to do it with a homebred horse was just extra special again.
That's amazing. Listen. It's all over the news. Sovereignty is not running in the Preakness. I've seen you go on. I know you've talked about it ad nauseum. I don't think we need to talk about, the fact that Belmont. What was the meeting like? Was it Bill's decision? Was it your decision? Like, did you guys actually say, "Hey, we kind of need to do this"? Or
Yeah, no, it was very much a team decision, and we all sort of felt like it was the right thing to do for the horse. He had a very tough race on Saturday. You saw the conditions of the track. It was it wasn't a sloppy. It was a sticky, muddy track that they had to get through. He was on a pretty tight schedule between the Fountain of Youth and then 4 weeks into the Florida Derby, which is a little bit tight. And maybe he was a little bit flat in the Florida Derby just with that tight turnaround, because he was an awful lot better coming into the Kentucky Derby itself, and just felt you're trying to develop these horses and doing the right thing for them, and it's a big picture deal. We're looking at a whole career, a season with him as well, and maybe even into next year as well. We haven't obviously thought about that too much as well, but we'd love to be able to have an opportunity to bring one of our horses over to Dubai to compete in the Dubai World Cup. We had Mystic Guide over there during the COVID years, but we'd love to try and do that again. We have some nice horses, and I think it's a responsibility on us to try and do that. Last year, we were hoping First Mission was going to be able to do that. He tanked in the Pegasus. The year before, Proxy did the same deal.
Yeah.
It's hard to go over there on the back of bad results. And so it'd be great if, he or one of the other horses will be able to get us there, because we really want to try and go over there and support Dubai and be able to go over there and try and compete in the World Cup again.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. What do you say to the purists? You've seen the purists out there. They're either saying, like, there's two schools of thought. Like, you win the Derby, you have to run in the Preakness, you have to go for the Triple Crown. And then there's the other school of thought that, well, we need to change, the format. We need more time, more spacing. So let's take up what's your feeling coming from a group like Godolphin that now has the chance at the Triple Crown and just saying, well, sorry guys, we're not doing it.
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer, to be honest. But we'd won the Belmont with Essential Quality before. We won the Preakness with Bernardini in the past. We'd never won the Derby. Our goal and focus all along was trying to win the Derby. And to be honest with you, none of us ever mentioned, we never talked about
Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
Right.
Could we win anything else? And maybe that was, we were so clouded in judgment as to what we were trying to achieve. But in all honesty, the Derby was the goal. Now, if something unfortunate happened and he couldn't run the Derby and had a temperature or whatever it might have been, but he was fine and we ran the Preakness, it'd be great. It's a wonderful race, one of the 3 classics in America, and it was no different when we won the Belmont with Essential Quality. It was fantastic to be able to do that, but it's not the Derby.
Yeah.
It is not the Derby, and I think we all know how great the Derby is and everything. But we've won lots of big races. We've won Breeders' Cups. The Cody's Wish story, you couldn't get bigger than that, and winning both of them as well. But I've never got the messages, people stopping me in the gym, on the street, anywhere with the Derby and said, I saw you or whatever. And we've a lot of our staff getting the same stuff as well.
Yeah.
And they're, one guy was in the dentist yesterday and one of the farmers looking at some foals, and he said he had a Godolphin gear on and whatever, and said, oh, you guys won the Derby or whatever, So it's like, you don't get that in any other race.
Yeah.
Any other race. And I think in this area that we live in at the moment, with trying to promote the sport, making sure these horses are in the best condition as they can when they get to the races. I just always have this image from Bernardini's Preakness win, what happened to Barbaro.
Yeah.
And that's a long time ago. If something like that happened today, coming off 2 weeks off the Derby, I don't know who could answer the questions why we do this. I think it's like it's for someone else out there to figure out what we need to do with these races and how to space them out and what to do with them. But I think in this day and age, we probably need to look at that very, very carefully as to what we need to do.
It's a great way to answer the question, Michael. Michelle said 20 minutes. We've gone 20 minutes. We know you're busy planning, 7,000 matings to the best stallions in America, and we appreciate your time.
Who's your favorite stallion you have right now, though? I have to know.
Well, I'm gonna have to say Medaglia d'Oro.
Look, the old man.
Look, he's had such a great year and a half, 2 years. To have Good Cheer and East Avenue running in the Derby, 26-year-old stallion. Nitrogen, who looks like she's maybe the best turf 3-year-old filly in the country. Spirit of St. Louis winning on Saturday as well. It was just amazing. He's a great stallion. We love having him around here for so long. 26 and still active. But obviously, the young stallions are the ones we're gonna want to come through. Nyquist is our big young gun, and obviously Tenma ran the Oaks and she ran well.
Yeah, very well.
Nice who came back from an awful long layoff.
He ran an awesome race.
Unbelievable, yeah. And so we've a lot to look forward with him, and then hopefully Cody's Wish, Maxfield, Speaker's Corner, one of those ones are going to be the next one that can come true for us, because we still need them to come along.
I know it's so rough being with awful horses and the places you worked, and just you've really come a long way, my friend.
It's tough, isn't it?
He's like, I have to go outside now and I have to feed a carrot to a champion. Hold on.
Exactly.
Hey, congratulations, man. Congratulations to the whole crew over there. I know what kind of operation you guys have, and we appreciate you coming on today. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Michelle. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your week.
Will do. Thank you.
Michael Banahan from Godolphin joining us here.
Can I just say it makes so much more sense for them to skip, knowing that they didn't think that his Florida Derby was great because of the 4-week turnaround, and he ran so much better in a Derby, and knowing that the Dubai World Cup is their ultimate goal. Yeah. I feel like that makes so much more sense. Like, how can you argue with that?
Well, I think, listen, I said it to him, and I can restate the question. I mean, there is a lot of hype right now. So there's of changing the races. I brought this up probably 10 years ago. I guarantee you I talked about it on this podcast with you, Michelle, that I felt like, you do the Derby the first Saturday in May, you do the Preakness the first Saturday in June, and you do the Belmont, or you do it on Memorial Day weekend or something like that, and then you do the Belmont.
Is it just the timing though? Is it also like knowing in a 3-month span you're going to run in 3 races? Because a lot of these guys like to go 6-8 weeks now between races.
Yeah, I think it's the 3 races. I think the Derby to the Belmont is 5 weeks, and I think people listen. It's Bill Mott. I mean, you're not going to argue with Bill Mott. So,
yeah, right. It's crazy. I cannot believe that people are arguing with Bill Mott.
There's 2 things on social media right now that are driving me crazy. The arguments with Bill Mott.
And Griffin, right?
Griffin, like, guys, shut the fuck up. Like, just literally, when you're going to go type a tweet about Griffin Johnson and if he's good or bad for the sport, just stop yourself.
Yeah.
Like, we need eyeballs. It doesn't matter that he's not talking about wagering.
Yeah.
Like, we know there are problems. We get it. But it's ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with people.
On the heels of a fantastic weekend, on a historic weekend for Godolphin, and we had so many social media eyes on us because of Griffin, and then people are going to be negative to Godolphin and Bill Mott, be negative to Griffin. It's like, we don't deserve nice things sometimes in horse racing. Like, can you guys just be appreciative? We had a fantastic and safe Kentucky Derby. We're going to have a great matchup in the Belmont. And hopefully longevity. You heard Michael mention next year, possibly.
Michelle, I had 2 moments. First of all, my Walker, my 24-year-old, or I don't know what it is, he came home. He goes, "Hey man, there was a bunch of influencers at the Derby." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, even my girl Alex Earl was back.
I got a haircut, and the barber said to me, like, "Hey, there was a bunch of influencers." It's like, it's a good thing. People are talking about it. It doesn't matter that they know anything about gambling. It does not matter. It would be great, but it does not matter. Maybe the next guy will know about gambling, or maybe it's Dave Portnoy who's talking about gambling. I mean, anybody who's out there talking about horse racing and getting people interested is a positive. Period. End of story. I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you.
I love your soapbox. Soapbox Billy.
It just gets me angry.
The first Cody's Wish should be named Soapbox Billy.
Yeah, that would be great. How many of these races do you want to really go back and talk about? Because there were some.
How about just your most impressive one? How about that's
First
it?
of all, no, the weather sucked. It just sucked. I mean, it poured on Friday afternoon I haven't seen rain like that ever. And then Saturday was just kind of rainy and dark. I've been to these derbies where it's bright and sunny, and even if it's hot, it's so much better. I felt terrible for a lot of the people who were there for the first time and experiencing it, because it was not the same. But there were some awesome races. Who is my most impressive? Aside from my guy Sovereignty,
aside from Sovereignty, yeah,
awesome. I thought the best race of the day was that Mind Frame race.
That race was so good. How about my boy Bookham Dano?
Bookham Dano, Banishing, Nisos, everybody. I mean, Banishing broke terribly and spotted him like 15 lengths and got beat this far. I mean,
and then Nisos off of that layoff.
That was that race. And
incredible.
We talked about it, and I did a lot of pick six stuff, and I hit the pick six and still lost all my money. It was awful because all the favorites won. But in those, I felt almost good about myself because I had everything to Sovereignty. But the races before were so difficult. And you look at that race, okay, which anybody could have won, right? And you had to go deep there. And then you look at the Spirit of St. Louis race. Gold Phoenix ran fourth. He got beat a length and a quarter.
That is the story of Gold Phoenix life.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was great. But Michelle, you go there and of course you want to win, but you also want to prove you belong on a national stage, and it's not just Del Mar. And I think he did that. And Rispoli gave him a great ride, saved all the ground. He had one little check that it wasn't his fault. A horse came right in front of him down the lane, but I have a video of myself going absolutely ballistic that I can't show anybody because it's just wrong.
I also thought Copian was extremely impressive. The West Coast came and didn't mess around.
No, and what about She Feels Pretty the day before?
Oh yeah, she was great too.
She was awesome, and Good Cheer was awesome. And by the way, what about Fierceness setting the track record off that layoff? I mean, it was
obviously Locke just did not fire, but Fierceness ran a race.
I mean, that was an incredible. If you're just a fan of the game like you and I are, and we're fans and we like these, big horses, it was an amazing couple of days. Even though it was a chalk fest, it was an amazing couple of days. And Michelle,
I made some money with my long shot filly running second in the Oaks.
Oh, that's good.
That's was where, and then I hit the Oaks Derby double that didn't pay much at all.
It paid great. I hit that.
Yeah, it made all right. I was hoping, but if I had
if
Drexel Hill had won, it would have paid stacks.
Yeah, I had my double was Good Cheer, and I had the 2 horse who I can't remember.
Let's see. So by the way, we had some head-to-heads. Okay.
Oh yeah, you won it.
Drexel Hill versus.
That was the 2 horse.
Yeah. Right. So I win 3-1 on that.
Okay.
You gave me 3-1 odds.
Yeah.
And then I had La Cara and you had 5G who ended up scratching.
That was not fair. Yeah. I would have taken Good Cheer. So those were only head-to-heads. What did we on the contender apprentice? I think we were pretty good.
The only thing we screwed up royally on was Owen Almighty.
Yeah.
I mean, that horse outran his everything, his life.
But if you think about that race going back, I mean, I had a very, like you said, I come with conviction sometimes, and I had a massive conviction on Sovereignty.
Yeah, that was so impressive.
I thought there was no way he was going to lose, and I thought the only horse that could beat him was Journalism. So that's it. Even though it was 7-1 and 3-1, and it paid whatever it paid. I mean, to me, that was a very easy exacta. And all of a sudden, and you have Baeza, who Flavian Pratt chooses to ride, who just lost to Sovereignty. To me, that was an easy trifecta. It was all right there.
That was a cold trifecta you could hit.
Yeah, it was all right there for you.
How good did Baeza run? And he was not acting good on the walkover.
He's an absolute beast. Well, Michelle, another great show, another great Derby, another great Oaks. Thank you, Michael Banahan. What do we have? We have Santa Anita coming up this weekend.
Yeah. So Santa Anita coming up this week. We have live racing on Friday. We're also doing the spectacular bid pin.
I want one of those.
You get Saturday. Huh?
Can you get me one of those?
Yes, I'm going to get you one.
Okay.
Saturday, we have the Siren Lure Stakes, 6 on the grass, and we have the Garden Bros Nuclear Circus that's in the parking lot at Santa Anita. And
That
we're
sounds
also
safe.
giving away Santa Anita sun hats if you are a Thoroughbred member.
Wow.
The 11th is Mother's Day. So, of course, we have the Front Runner Mother's Day buffet, the Mother's Day apron barbecue, the trackside dining Mother's Day, and the Mother's Day upstairs. So all kinds of fun stuff like that.
Well,
If you
happy
want to bring
Mother's
your
Day
mom
to
to race
you.
that.
Happy Mother's
Thank
Day
you.
to you, and happy Mother's Day, Mom, and all the moms out there. And
Do you get Kathy something for Mother's Day? Or do you make the boys?
I never know what to do. They have to get something. I got something from my mom, but I mean, I got to get her a little something, I think. But
I think you do too.
What did you do for your birthday before we leave?
Oh, so on my birthday, nothing because it was racing, right? And then on Monday, me and Zoe and Christina and my mom went to a Titanic escape room.
Oh my God.
And then after we escaped with 4 minutes to spare,
Nice.
we went to Venice and had lunch at Great White. And then
Really?
we went back home and we went to the first cabin.
Oh,
And then
boy.
we spent like 3 hours the first cabin. And then
Oh,
Olivia
boy.
had soccer. So we went to the Buccaneer while she finished karate. We went to soccer.
Wow.
It was fun. It was
We will-
super fun.
We will see you this weekend, and then I get to hang out with you at Preakness. That's going to be super fun.
Yay! I fly in Sunday.
Oh, that early?
Yeah, for the
You're
draw.
good.
'Cause the draw is Monday.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy. We'll do something on the road for Preakness next week. Thanks, everybody.
Perfect. Bye.